Am I the a-hole for saying I owe my ex's wife nothing and being quietly glad my kids don't consider her their second mom? I, 30F, was married to my ex, 32M. We were young, and things moved fast. Our marriage fell apart during my pregnancy with our son, who is now 8. We'd already been co-parenting our daughter, now 10, under very strained conditions, and by the time our son was born, we were essentially strangers sharing 2 children. We finalized the divorce when my son was 2 months old, and any lingering civility between us evaporated. We became coldly efficient co-parents, interacting only for pickups, drop-offs, and emergencies. That was it. About 2.5 years after the divorce, my ex showed up at a custody exchange with a woman, his girlfriend, now wife, 33F. At first, she seemed okay. Polite, maybe even overly friendly. I remember thinking she was probably too good for him. I shook her hand, introduced myself, smiled at her. Just being cordial. At that time, I had zero reason to be anything else. But within a few months, it became clear she was harboring resentment I didn't even know I'd sparked. Apparently, she'd taken offense to how I handed the kids directly to my ex at drop-offs and didn't offer one of the kids to her to carry or hold. I didn't know this at the time. To me, it was a habitual routine. The kids go to their dad, not his new girlfriend. That's just how we'd always done it. The first time her bitterness became obvious was at our daughter's preschool play. It was one of those cute but chaotic events, and I was holding my then-infant son because he was getting fussy. After the performance, my ex's girlfriend pulled me aside and accused me of hogging the baby. Hogging. She said I was doing it on purpose to keep him away from her. She told me I needed to start accepting that she was going to be their mommy too, and that the sooner I got over my selfish hoarding, the better it would be for everyone. She even said, and I quote, "Eventually, they'll call me mom, and you'll just be your first name." I was floored. I said, "No, I'm not hogging anyone. He's a baby. I'm doing what I've always done during events and exchanges." And she said, "You're just mad that there's another mom now. You'll have to get used to it." My ex stood there the whole time and said absolutely nothing. Didn't step in, didn't defend me, didn't de-escalate. That silence said everything. After that, the tension worsened. She was openly cold to me at school events or medical appointments. The kids were never particularly warm toward her, and that became a me problem, according to my ex. He said the kids being hesitant around her was my fault for not encouraging a stronger bond. Keep in mind, our daughter was 5, and our son was still in diapers. Then came the bombshell, a CPS report filed anonymously with several disturbing allegations. They were serious, accusations of physical abuse, neglect, endangerment. The investigation lasted several weeks. It terrified me. Not because I had anything to hide, but because I know how badly even a baseless report can mess up your life. CPS cleared me completely. They said the claims didn't match reality. But shortly after, my ex's girlfriend confronted me and said, "It's disgusting that anyone would believe you're fit to be a mother. But don't worry, I'll prove it eventually." So, yeah, anonymous? Sure. But not exactly subtle. After that, she tried manipulating schedules and even booked her wedding to my ex during my custody time, even though we had plans already scheduled on the shared parenting app. I refused to rearrange. I wasn't being petty. I had made those plans in advance, and the wedding date was completely their choice. They still went ahead and got married without the kids, then blamed me for robbing them of their big family moment. Since then, she has become relentlessly hostile. She's made vile comments about my appearance in front of other parents, spread rumors, and on more than one occasion called me a prostitute. For the record, I am not, and have never been one. Not that it would justify her behavior even if I were. She even tried to alienate me from my ex's extended family, but they've known me longer than her, and thankfully, most didn't buy into her drama. Despite everything, I've tried to keep my kids out of this mess. I don't badmouth her to them. I stick to the schedule. I show up to every IEP meeting, every parent-teacher conference, every doctor appointment. And I keep the conversations about them, not about her or the past. But apparently, that's not good enough. A few weeks ago, during an IEP meeting for our son, my ex brought up, out of nowhere, that his wife is frustrated. He said she feels rejected by the kids, that they never call her mom or see her as anything more than dad's wife. He said I could help fix that I should encourage the kids to love and respect her like a second mom. He said, "She's been there since they were babies. You owe her some help. She's done a lot for them." I told him calmly, I owe her nothing. I reminded him of the CPS allegations, the insults, the years of hostility, And I told him that any expectation for me to build her up in the eyes of my children is wildly inappropriate. Just a couple of weeks ago, he messaged me via the app. He said he knows I'm glad that the kids don't call her mom or see her that way. And I won't lie. He's not wrong. I am quietly glad. It's not that I've tried to turn them against her. I haven't. I've never told them not to love her. But I also didn't force them to see her as a mother figure. I've always let them make that decision themselves. And they chose. They chose me. I'm their mother. The woman who fought to keep them safe. Who nursed them, soothed them, went through court battles and IEPs and tantrums and bedwetting and night terrors. The one who gets called at 3 a.m. when someone's sick. The one who never disappeared, never made them choose, and never made loving someone else a requirement. So, yeah, I'm not heartbroken that they don't see her as their mom. I'm not going to fake tears or sympathy over it. My ex thinks that makes me petty. He says I'm hurting the kids by not being supportive of their stepmom. But I see it differently. You can't force a child to love someone. You can't manipulate your way into the role of mom. And if you try to do it by tearing down the actual mother, then you don't deserve the title in the first place. So, am I the a-hole for saying I owe his wife nothing and for being quietly glad that my kids don't consider her their second mom?